If you're like many of us, you've probably been told you need a boatload of supplements to fix your hormones after 40. And sure, they can help. But food is where the real magic happens because the right foods don't just do one thing. They give you fiber, minerals, antioxidants, digestive support, blood sugar support, all at once sometimes. And that's the kind of multitasking your hormones love. I love a good multitasker too. How do I know this? I'm Christy, and not only am I going through this phase myself, but I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and I help women in their 30s and 40s feel like themselves again with real food and root cause strategies. And today I'm walking you through 13 foods that work with your body to support hormone balance without the fancy powders or a cupboard full of supplement bottles. If you're ready to nourish your body with simple, powerful foods that can easily fit into your week, let's dig in. The first one is raspberries. Not only are they delicious and high in antioxidants because they're beautiful in color, but they're also super high in fiber, like 8 grams in 1 cup. That's unbelievable. And fiber helps bind excess estrogen and get it out of the body. And antioxidants help reduce inflammation, which can seriously mess with your hormone signaling. And yes, raspberries can be a little on the pricey side. So my hack here is to buy frozen, especially when they're not in season. Frozen fruits and vegetables are flash frozen during peak season. So they're almost as nutritious as freshly picked produce and often more nutritious than the produce that has been sitting on the shelf for days or even weeks. Plus, they're often less expensive and there's not a race against the clock to eat them in time before they go rotten. The next is broccoli sprouts. Now these guys are tiny but mighty. They contain something called sulforaphane, which is a compound that helps your liver break down estrogen into safer forms so it can exit the body and not recirculate, which causes a ton of problems. This is key during perimenopause when estrogen can spike and cause mood swings, sore breasts, or heavy periods. These also can be a little pricey, I understand. So let me know if you want to see how I grow these on my counter in just 5 days with no dirt, no green thumb required. It's super easy. Let me know in the comments. The next is beets plus beet greens. Beets help stimulate bile, which helps with fat digestion and constipation if that's something that you're battling with too, which is super common in perimenopause. And they support your liver's phase 2 detox pathways, which helps package up and clear out those used hormones we talked about a little bit earlier. And don't toss the greens. Those are also rich in potassium, like one of the top sources of potassium, which so many perimenopausal women are in need of because of fluctuating hormones and increased stress, which can deplete it. And that increases fatigue. It also is high in magnesium, folate, and vitamin C if you eat them raw. Those are nutrients your body needs to produce hormones and regulate your cycle. The next is root vegetables like sweet potatoes, carrots, parsnips. Also beets are in there too, but they deserve their own category. So this is for the rest of the root veggies. These are rich in complex carbohydrates that can help stabilize blood sugar, which is a huge factor in hormone balance. And when blood sugar crashes, cortisol spikes, and high cortisol can throw off estrogen and progesterone real fast. They're also a very mineral-rich source of carbohydrates, so you get a lot of bang for your buck here. That's why I love them. If it'd be helpful for me to share more about how I prep these foods easily within my week, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to create another video about this because root veggies aren't necessarily the most common that people will use because they tend to take a little bit longer to cook and prepare. The next is sauerkraut or kimchi, which is in the fermented foods family. And those support gut health. And your gut plays a massive role in hormone balance. They're also packed with a ton of benefits all in one. Not only do they have probiotics, which is what they're most known for, those are beneficial bacteria for the gut, but also they have digestive enzymes, so they actually help you digest your food. They are a flavor profile that helps stimulate digestive juices, so it helps your body's own production of digestive enzymes. They also contain prebiotics, which help feed the probiotics. So that is so many benefits in one. And it also helps regulate estrogen clearance, immune function, and nutrient absorption. The key with sauerkraut or kimchi, especially sauerkraut, since there's a couple forms of that you can find in the grocery store, is to look for them in the refrigerated section. Kimchi is almost always in the refrigerated section, but sauerkraut you can sometimes find in the middle pantry aisles. We need it in the refrigerated section because that means that there are live probiotics in it, which is a version that we want. And how to eat it is to even just take 1 to 2 tablespoons a day before a meal can make a big difference. I like to eat it at the start of the meal, kind of like a little appetizer, because then I can get some of those digestive benefits for the rest of my meal. Hey, if you're into real food solutions and practical hormone support that actually makes sense, hit the like button and subscribe or share it with a friend. It helps this video reach more women who need it, and I truly appreciate it. The next is pasture-raised eggs. Eggs are full of choline, B vitamins, and healthy fats, which are nutrients that help support hormone production, brain health, and detoxification. And do not fear the yolk. It's where most of the goodness is, to be honest. And to keep in mind that overcooking the yolk can sometimes reduce some of its delicate nutrients like choline and certain B vitamins. So when you can, enjoy the yolk soft or slightly runny to retain more of its benefits. The next is one that might need a little convincing, but stay with me. And that is sardines or mackerel. These are little hormone heroes, packed with omega-3s to reduce inflammation, plus they have vitamin D and selenium, which are really good nutrients for thyroid health and hormone signaling. And they're small little teeny tiny fish, which means that they're lower in mercury compared with other larger fish. Brands that I love are Wild Planet, Fishwife, if you like some like fancier flavors. The Season brand, Matisse, and Crown Prince are my favorite brands. But truly any that is wild caught, which is more common for this type of fish, is okay. The next are flax seeds. These tiny seeds contain lignans, which are compounds that help balance estrogen levels. They also help give you fiber and plant-based omega-3s. Ground flax is easier to digest than the whole flax seeds, and just 1 to 2 tablespoons a day can go a very long way. I like to mix mine into smoothies, but it can also be mixed into sauces or oatmeal, or really anywhere that has a little bit of texture to it that you won't notice because it can thicken it up just a little bit. The next is bone broth. Bone broth is rich in collagen, which also has glycine, and minerals that support gut health and stress resilience, which are 2 major pillars for hormone balance. Bone broth is rich in glycine, which is an amino acid that plays many powerful roles in the body. Glycine has a calming effect on the brain, which can help improve sleep quality, especially when it's consumed in the evening. It's also been shown to help support more stable blood sugar by improving your glucose tolerance and reducing those post-meal glucose spikes, which is a really big deal when it comes to perimenopause, when blood sugar swings can throw hormones totally out of whack. I also love bone broth because it has up to 10 grams of protein in 1 cup, and when we're trying to fit more protein into our day, that's a really great one to try. I also like to just sip on it, but it can be used as a substitute for broth in any recipe. Some of my favorite brands are Kettle and Fire, Fond, Bare Bones, or you can check with your local butcher for grass-fed bone broth. The next are dark leafy greens. Think spinach, kale, chard. These are packed with magnesium and folate, which help with mood, energy, and detoxification. If you're feeling fatigued or PMSy, you may want more of these. You can of course eat them raw, but sometimes that can be a little harder to digest. I tend to like sauteing them lightly in some avocado oil or ghee and topping them with a squeeze of lemon juice and some sea salt. Speaking of salt, the next one is mineral-rich salt. Yes, salt. When your hormones shift, your electrolytes need to change too. Minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium help your cells stay hydrated and support your adrenal health. I love Redmond sea salt or Celtic salt. Just a pinch of salt in your water can make a huge difference. And I think it's important to talk a little bit more about why salt is important here. Sea salt, like Celtic or Redmond sea salt, is minimally processed and contains a broad spectrum of natural occurring trace minerals like magnesium, potassium, and calcium, which are all nutrients that many women are missing and play a critical role in hormone balance, adrenal function, and hydration. Iodized salt, on the other hand, the versions that we're all familiar with, is highly refined. And why that matters is because it typically only contains sodium chloride plus some added iodine and anti-caking agents. During processing, nearly all of those natural occurring trace minerals are stripped away. So when we talk about mineral-rich sea salt, we're not just talking about taste, we're talking about real electrolyte support your body can actually use, especially when stress, poor sleep, and hormonal shifts have your system feeling off. The next is cruciferous veggies. These are things like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. These help with estrogen metabolism and are rich in fiber and antioxidants. They also support both your gut and liver, which are essential for clearing excess hormones. I recommend cooking them, not only to make them easier to digest, hello gas, but also help reduce the amount of goitrogens, which in large amounts can interfere with thyroid function for some people. Hey, if this list is giving you some new ideas or connecting some dots, drop a comment below and let me know which foods you're going to add into your meals this week. And number 13 actually isn't a food, and that is variety and consistency. No single food is a magic bullet, and of course, almost all whole foods are valuable for the body in some way. But building meals consistently with a variety of these foods, full of protein, fiber, fiber, healthy fats, and color is the foundation that sets your hormones up for success. Like any of the tips that I ever share, you don't need to overhaul your whole life overnight. Just start with one or two of these foods and build from there. And of course, how you eat them is important too. So here's a video on how to eat for hormone balance that will give you more tips on how to integrate all of these foods into your diet. All right, you've got this, and I'm here with you every step of the way. See you in the next video.